G'day and welcome to another episode. My name is Daethstro, the Aussie Geek, and this is Zeta Toys Takeoff, aka their version of Blast Off. And very much like Vortex, he's very kibbly. As you can see, he has two different guns, a brown one and a grey one. The grey one is more for his shuttle mode, but he can quite easily hold it as per normal. So this is our next part in their Combaticons. Now I will say off the bat, it is very warm in my room at the moment, so I am probably going to end up making this video a little bit choppy as I try to get through each mode so I can go and cool down. He does come with accessories. Weirdly enough, he comes with two cards. One is your shiny and one just normal, which is really bizarre. The backs of them are pretty much identical. So there we go. He does look good. I do love his head sculpt. I really do love his head sculpt. He looks really, really mean in this version. I think Blast Off was, if I can get it to focus, come on. Blast Off didn't, it had sort of that single grey visor, but they've gone with a red one, which really does quite work out. He does have the same issue, well, if you want to call it an issue, as the other Combaticons. He is very, 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 very bulky, and he is very, 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 very kibbly, which he doesn't really hide his kibble very well. I will say one thing for their aerial bots. They gave you the option to take the wings off if you wanted to tidy up. His are staying put. They do not come off unless you snap them or unscrew them. So here we go. So let's get down to articulation. So try to keep things focused. Head can do a full 360, but you're going to impact the backpack piece here when you get so far. So not quite full 360. It goes out that far, ratcheted for some bizarre reason, but you can use transformation joint to get you up that high. You do have, if you can get it, when you position his arm the right way, because this piece here does get in the way. You have bicep rotation, very squeaky though. You have technically double jointed elbow that gets you that far. I suppose you could get a little bit further forward, kinda. It has wrist rotation, which actually tends to unplug the actual connection there. It has typewriter fingers, so these are all on one pin. Thumb does not move. He has waist swivel. He has side ab crunch. Just look for the joint, which of course that is because of joint. He has no ab crunch in general. You can flip up the side skirts and you can get that far forward, that way far back, and there is a soft ratchet to get you that far. He has upper thigh rotation. You have a knee, which is difficult at best to get, and it only gets you that far. And I think I've actually just untransformed his leg a little bit, I think. Yep, I have actually tabbed his knee. Ankle tilt, which is weird because you have, it's just the front portion of his foot. I don't know why that's not sitting where it's supposed to be. So it's just the front of his foot that tilts. You have toe here, and his boosters become your heel. I couldn't think for a second there. So there we go. So we will get him into, I'm just trying to think which would be the most convenient, because last time we went into combine mode first, and then we went into shuttle mode. Just trying to think which would be easier. honestly. I think getting him into shuttle mode, because we only need like half. Oh, I'm not really sure, honestly, now that I'm thinking of it. Well, how about we try getting him into shuttle mode, and then we'll get him to combine mode this time. We'll see how that goes. Alright, so first things first, we're going to try to get this front chest piece out and flip his head. Oh, that's not going to go anywhere, and his head doesn't go anywhere, that's right. So that's just for his combiner port, so we don't need any of that. Alright, so we'll do the arms first. So I'll bring this out a bit. We're going to flip up this, and just trying to think how this goes. Might as well bring that all the way around. We're going to flip out the nose cone, and it should rotate and bring in, which will give you a bit of clearance. Then you can fold the fist in, and that'll tab there, like so. Same on the other side. So straighten all that out for now. Flip the fist. You can use that to poke out the nose cone too. Rotate that around. Flip that in. Flip that all the way around. Flatten. And you have these two tabs that are going to go in if you line it up properly. And we'll rotate it this way. We're going to actually need that whole shoulder rotated. So like so. We're going to flip up these pieces, if you can get your finger in under it. Flip up and flip up, and that's going to raise up, and it's sort of going to, what would you call it, sort of sink between them. So it just sort of goes over his head, so just like sort of that. So that's pretty much where you want it, and we can tab the nose cone and that all together just to get that all nice and adhesed. We'll lift the camera up a little bit more. Alright, we will get this solved. So we fold out, and bring this all down. And it should hopefully still be all in one piece. You have a tab in here. You have a tab in here and a tab in here. And that should go into here. So here, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's here. So just keep all that together. And bring that down. And yep, just be careful and tab. You could probably do that before you actually tab the nose cone together. There we go. Like so. Now the backpack, and this can be a little bit fiddly. So you're going to bring this back, and you're going to split it very carefully, not too much. And what we need to do, actually, we could probably keep it together, but we will, it does make it a little bit easier. Then bring all this up, and that's going to tab into those slots at the top. And then we can bring this all up, and that will fill in that gap. So we've basically got the top of the bot done. All right, now the complicated bit, the legs. Always the legs when it comes to these figures. And there is a couple of things in this that do scare me a little bit. So let's start with, we're just going to give us a bit of clearance. Oops. All right, we're going to flip this forward. Are we? Yeah, that should give us some, that should open up. There we go. Like so, and we're just going to fold this up. It's sort of going to joint in there. We just need it just to get that up, just so we got big clearance. We can pull on this thruster. And actually, we'll just slide that up there for now. All right, so it's a matter of getting things out of the way and getting things in the way, so to speak. So we'll deal with a bit of this wing. So we're going to flip this up. We're going to untab this and flip this out a little bit. We're going to bring this up, and we're going to bring this back. Be very, 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 very careful. And it should roll if things are out of the way, which I don't think I have them all out of the way. So we'll get this up. And just be careful of that double hinge. There is a double hinge there. Where are we? Because we need to flip this open a little bit. Where are you? Yeah, like I said, this does scare me, and this heat does not help me. Okay, so very carefully, you're going to sort of pop this up out of the way, and just carefully, as long as all this is clear, you can flip the back of the leg open. All right, so we're going to flip his toe down and bring this back. We're going to combine wars the leg inwards. Come on. There we go. All the way in. I can't really do a very good job showing that. And then this is going to swing in and into that gap and sort of fit in there. I'm just trying to see if I can find a tab to sort of lock that further in place, but I don't think I can really find one. No, not really. So then we can bring all this back around and cover that back up, like so. We can then bring this down. As long as that foot was in the right place, it'll fit, and then we can fit that into that groove. We want to bring this half of the thruster down. Now, this has a whole different transformation for this. I don't trust it, so I don't do it. But very carefully, there is a little sort of nubbin where the tail will sit until we get it plugged in. All right, so we'll leave that where it is, and we'll try to do the other side, which, like I said, is easier said than done. So we'll flip this up. We'll bring this forward, bring this forward. If you can get it, there we go. We want to partially transform the wing. I'm going to have to straighten his leg for this, and it's not going to help me with any clearance. So get that black, make sure that black piece is out of the way. I'm just trying to get the wing around, which I think the actual landing gear might be a little in the way. There we go, that's better. So if you're having trouble with that, don't force it too hard, just try and get that landing gear out of the way. And we can flip this up. Try to get just enough out of the way so you can pull that out to unlock it. And then if things go the way they're supposed to, which I think might have partly, we can flip that open. We can bring this back for the moment. We want to combine wars our leg inside. That one's sort of tabbed in better. Then we want to bring this up from where we had it. Close that toe. And we just need to get basically this, I'll turn the light on, into this groove, because I don't think I showed it very well. So as long as that sits flat-ish, there should be more than enough clearance in here. All right, so then we can bring that back over and bring this back down. Like I said, as long as the foot's where it's supposed to be, you'll be right. All right, so before I do anything else, I'm going to tab this together. There's tabs all along there. It's just a matter of finding where they are. I think one of my legs is not quite high enough. Come on. Where are my tail fin up a little bit better. All right, what's giving me clearance issues? So I'm just sort of trying to get things a little bit isolated. Where are you having trouble? Maybe I've got a, I was going to say, maybe I've got a, there we go. A little fiddly. All right, so I've got one of my legs is not quite pushed in far enough. There we go. I think I've got it straight enough. All right, so I'm going to clean this up a bit so we can actually basically isolate it. So these are going to come down and clip onto here if you have the hinge straight enough and things are where they're supposed to go. So I can straighten this wing out so that it gets a bit more flatter. That on both sides. All right, so we have a bit of flatness so we can actually get somewhere with it. All right. We're going to bring this up and that's going to tab into here. Once again, be careful of this double hinge. You have to get it activated, which is not easy, before you fold out, because you fold out, all you're going to do is bust it. So I'll try bringing it back. Yep. Just bring it back and get that hinge to come first. And then I can tab this tab here into the side. There we go. All right, so all I did was fold it back where it was and use basically a little bit of pressure to get this one to bend first before this. So just careful. Don't want too much pressure, otherwise you will snap it. And of course, it plugs in the side. So there we go. All right, almost done. Bring the camera up a little bit more and then we'll just angle it down a little bit. All right. So with these, you're going to fold out. Just be very, 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 very careful. You have little sort of knobs under here that will go into these. And there's a little tab port that'll line up with the sides here. So that'll tab in there. That'll tab in there. And voila, we're almost done. Just line our tail fins up. Make sure that things are properly tabbed in like they are. Like if you press your finger on that, it will fold in on itself. So that's slightly annoying. Just make sure those wings are as far down as they're supposed to go. And then we can deal with the exhaust. So these sit here. And this will come down on a little hinge. Just be careful. And plug in there. And almost forgot, and this can be a bit of a pain. These tabs have got to go into these ports, so they are a little. Thank you, Mr. Car. So they can be an absolute pain to plug in, and I've probably did it a little bit harder for myself. So just trying to get it from the top. Actually, is it that how I usually do it? I'm just trying to think how I can actually get that to plug in. What I might do is we'll just untab. Without untabbing absolutely everything. Just untab these pieces here and see if I can get these side bits. Just untab a little bit. Actually, I'll bring this one out. I've just popped the top off anyway. I'm not undoing absolutely everything. I will say that much. I'm not undoing absolutely everything. I just need to get a bit of clearance to get that plugged in. So just brought that forward a little bit. Get this one roughly where it's supposed to go. And I'll just sort of line things up as they're going back in place. And just tab them back in that way. Just give us a push. And bring these back down and those back where they're supposed to go. Tab that back in, and that back in, and bring these back to where they were. Make sure things are actually lining up where they're supposed to be. There we go. Right, now that is Blast Off in his shuttle mode. Now we can take his weapons that I pointed out before, which are these ones, and they just plug in the back. I will say, and I don't know why it is, but Brawl has ports on the back end of his tank, which would have fit for his alt mode weapons, but he doesn't come with them. So that just seems really, really bizarre that Blast Off gets his blasters, Onslaught and Swindle come with their alt weapons. Begging my pardon. I'm actually looking at it, and it's looking at the box, and apparently I got them the wrong way, but I don't know if they go the other way. So apparently they plug in this way, because the box is just in my corner of my eye. But yeah, Brawl and Vortex doesn't really get their weapons, like Swindles and Onslaught get theirs. Brawl's a tank, so what are you going to do there? But yeah, it just seems really weird. Alright, so we can get some landing gear. So we have here, and now this is two different pieces. And then we can fold these down if you get your fingers in. Come on. Probably should have got that out properly. Should we use that? Because I don't trust the metal. There we go. So there we go. There is Blast Off in his shuttle mode with all armed up. He is a very brown shuttle, but then again, that is what Blast Off is. As for size comparison, there he is with Windblade. So he is very, very big. Is it just me? Like, I'm sure a lot of other people have noticed this. But Groove and Blast Off are the only two combiner pieces that I can think of at the top of my head. No, that's a stupid thought. I was going to say they're the only ones that don't really fit the size, but then again, Swindle's a bit too big in some cases too. So it's just weird. Basically, he's got the Astro Train problem. So there we go. Right, so let's get him down into combine mode. We are going to have to move a few things. Like I said, I wasn't sure which way would actually work better with this. But we'll take his guns off, because we won't need those now. Now, ironically, this basically portion of the shuttle is more or less where we want it. There's a few steps we have to change. It's basically the back here, and there is a good portion of it that's basically where it's supposed to be. But yeah, it's just a lot of things being folded up, which is why I think this is probably have been better done in the before getting back into robot mode. So we'll fold these up. Oh, I suppose if you really, really, really want to, you could post those guns under here, I suppose, or this way. Oops, you didn't see that. Sorry. My rating's not working with this heat. You could plug it in this way, or that way if you want. Have something of a Seeker design. So yeah, I'll bring it back a little bit instead of messing with the camera so much. Alright, so we are going to just trying to think of the best way to start this. So we need to get this all untabbed because we need access to this little port in here. Well, we might as well start with unplugging these. Whoops. And that's just going to come back, unplug this, And fold that back. We will be putting the shuttle's fin in, so a lot of this is basically just going back to robot mode. So we will untab this and just bring that down a bit. This, actually what we'll do is we'll fold that down just so we can get that hinge where we wanted it. And then we can probably bring that, yeah, I'm probably gonna, well, that'll rotate that, but we don't quite want that yet. We might be able to actually just get enough. No, I'm gonna have to untab that again. Alright, so we'll just try to get in there and pop those tabs. Because I swear I used to be able to get them unplugged differently. Come on. Just throwing things at myself now. There we go. Alright, so we'll get that down. We might as well actually get the top part done first, just to give us a little bit of clearance and whatnot. So what we'll do is we'll try to untab the sides here. So that might give us enough room to get those out, and we'll just temporarily fold those that way for now. What we are going to do is we need to get access to this. So we're going to just keep that, plug all that back in, and very, 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 very carefully, where are you? We need to get this popped up. So I'm just trying to find I'm sure this should be two separate pieces. Yeah, I think. Because that should be... my brain is not working. I'm really going to apologize because it's just so hot. I don't have the air conditioner on. Because this should be two separate pieces. Yeah, it is two separate pieces. Just so it sits over top. All right. I thought so. It always looks at me like there's a hinge there. All right, so we're going to fold this back. We're going to bring this back. And this is where this chest piece comes in. Now, I don't know how well I'm going to be able to get to it. Otherwise, actually, I should be able to fold that out too and get that under here. I don't think I can get to that too much without at least partly transforming the arms just to give us a bit of clearance. So fold that down. This separates now. So this is where you got to be a little bit careful. It will separate two different ways. I just can never remember which way it goes. I can't remember which one goes over the top of the other. There we go. So that will give us full access to our combiner peg. So it can very, very difficultly, with a lot of force, try to get this out of here. Just trying to think of something I can use to put a bit more force on it without breaking that. There we go. There we go. That can close back up now. And what we're going to do with this, I'm just going to lift it just enough that I should be able to get this piece here should go on the other side. So I'm just going to try and get it past. Do I want to get it on the other side? Should be. Because I'm just having trouble getting it past that hatch piece there. There we go. Let's try to get that in there, which is easier said than done. Yeah, because you got two ports on the inside of here that need to sort of get in there, but there's not much in the way of clearance to try and get it past. Try to push it down a bit. Don't think that's going to make any difference. And I don't want to put too much pressure on that because I know it's going to just end up snapping on me. I just got to try and get as much clearance as I can, but I just can't get these open far enough to get past that piece. Maybe I should have done it before I got the combiner peg out. Alright, I'm going to have to try that. Give me a second and I will come back because this is going to be really fiddly. So yes, that's what I did. I got this folded first before I got this back out. Alright, so then all this can go over. So this will tab into here as well to get that all locked in place. If I can get that where it's supposed to sit, like so. Then we can put... I'm going real well with this camera. I really am. Put them back in place, push that back in, and then we can bring these back down and tap all that in, and that's the top of the shuttle in combine mode. So that's how we want it. Now, blast off is our right arm, so this has to be pointed this way, and this has to be pointed this way. So we're going to have to spin below the waist to keep all this where we actually need it. All right, so this is pretty much all transformed where we want it, pretty much. So with those compressed, we can bring the wings back. We can fold this in and tab that in and bring that down, and now you can't see any of this. I'm going so damn well. I suppose you could keep that folded out. I'm not going to. I might try to tab that in, but fold that over, fold that back in, tab that in, fold that in. We're going to split the legs, and it will open a bit. And because of the way everything is situated, it's a lot more secure. So we can fold that back in where it was. We can fold that back in where that was. We want to bring, where are you? Do we want to bring it down or bring it up? These come up to give us a bit of clearance. We have our piece here. I'm trying to think which way we have our boosters. I'm trying to think. My brain's going a bit numb. Well, let's try to see how we go. So we have our right arm. So that's going to go into here. So I don't think moving these are really going to do anything for us. So here's the groove here. And we want, and I've got my hand the wrong way around. So we want 2 grooves back, 1 groove forward. And preferably a hand the right way around. So that can tab into, all right, it's got to be, oh, that's it. Yeah, you do fold these back. I'm like, they're going to be in the way anyway, so how's that going to work? So yeah, you do have to fold them back. Then you can tab that in. I am going real well. I apologize for this. This video is going to be umpteenth hours long, all because of my stuff-ups. So plug that into there, bring all this back together without things falling out. Just tab everything back in where it was, which is absolutely fighting me. I don't know why I'm having so much trouble. There we go. Gotcha. We can bring these down and plug them in. Like I said, I think these are supposed to go on the inside, but I don't trust it because that's really scary. So I apologize if I'm skipping past that step and it's really what you want to do, but I'd rather not. And there is blast off in his combine mode. So you have all this detail on this side. Those don't really tab in. I think my top half is not quite tabbed in far enough. So there is our arm. It's very, very big. I don't think I've said it. I probably have. I'll say it again. This is the set that got me into the idea of the Titan size combiners. So yeah, if it wasn't for Zeta doing these, I probably wouldn't have got them. So there we go. And of course, you can have it the other way around if you really want to, but the hands really don't allow it. You'd have to swap joints and stuff. So basically, Blast Off is going to be your right arm no matter what. So there we go. Right, let's get him back into robot mode. We are a good portion of the way there. We just have a few fiddly steps that we have to complete. So we can split this, pull the hand back out. We're going to rotate below the joint so we can get his legs the right way around. Right, so this is where the fiddliness come in, because we're going to have to start moving things again. So I'm just going to bring this down. I'm going to bring this down. We don't really have much clearance, so I'm going to try my best. I'm just going to bring the wing out, and once again, I need to flip this up because I almost forgot, and I'm going to get the wheels out of the way to just give us a bit more room. Then they can go back. We want to get this up so it'll be out of clearance. Flip this up a little bit. We want to pull this up, like I said. We want to pull on this to get this clear. And then we can bring our tail fin out and then just carefully flip open the back of the leg. So then we can bring the foot down and we're going to flip it up into this groove at the moment. And then we can extend or uncombine wars the leg all the way up, and that will give us our full clearance. Press that in so it's all pressed in. Like I said, there's a whole bunch of things where you're supposed to fold this around and flip that into here. I don't trust it. I feel like that'll snap. So yes, that is a step that I'm bypassing. I apologize, but that's just how I feel about it. So that's going to go back into that groove. This is going to come down. That can flip up back up there for our heel. We can bring the foot around, back in place. We can then bring this down. I think there's a tabbing point there. Yeah, I think that, is it that? I think the actual tab here actually goes into the gun port. So interesting. Fold this up, fold that down, bring this down, and you have this tab here that will go over here. It's not secure. I really should nail polish it one day, but this can come down and that creates our shin. So that's one leg all done. All right, so the other leg, fold this up. We'll get that wheel out of the way while I'm thinking of it. We're going to bring up, bring around, fold up, come in here, pull this out, bring this out so it gives us a bit more clearance. Bring that up, fold the foot out and around, which that feels like iffy, but just be careful with that a little bit. Unfold all that and plug that in. There is a tab on the inside. You can then bring this back around, bring that down, and bring that up, and fold that in to the groove. We can then fold that in, fold this back, fold that in, fold that down, fold that back, bring the foot down, and tab the shit in place. And that is our legs all done. And he does suffer from the same thing every single other one does. Issues with the A stance where it's a wide-ish, actually, oh yeah. The teeth are a bit still too wide, so his A stance is very, very wide. All right, now for the easy-ish stuff. So we're going to untab here and bring this back. We'll deal with this in a second. We'll untab the sides of this, just so we've got some clearance. We're going to untab this side first, because that's under there. So if we try to untab that, it's going to be pushing on that. Then bring this out. We can fold that out. I've just reached it from the inside. Ooh. We want to fold this in as far as it'll go, and then fold that into the chest as far as it will go. Then, which I glossed over, there should be enough clearance-ish. It does sort of scrape on here, and it sort of does put some force on there to get that back under there, which then that can fold in. Now, I suppose if you really want to, you could leave that where it was. And it would still tab in, because I'm just having a look at the back of the shuttle. It doesn't really tab into here. Does it? Doesn't? No, not really. So it's up to you if you really want to do that. I'm just doing it for the sake of doing it. Oops. Ooh, that joint didn't feel good. Bring that down. You do see, sort of need to angle that in a way so it'll all come down. And then that can all... Oh, hang on. Do I not have that far enough in? Yeah. Oh. Don't know why that feels weird. There we go. So it wasn't quite overarching each other. Alright, so we can split the nose cone and bring all this down. Honestly, that is the most... traditional part of the transformation is the hand transformation. It's basically what G1's blast off does. We can fold these in and tab them into place, and then we can fold these up like so, and they'll tab in. We can then bring these down for his shoulders, or the underarms I should say. We can then, and I'll just bring this up a little bit. You're going to put your finger in from the other side to flip the hand out, and it will flip out, untab, rotate, slide in, and you have a little tab under the wrist that goes into the nose cone. So just up and tab. And you can bring that around, rotate the shoulder, bring that down until you have it where you want it. Like I said, this piece here does cause issues if you want to use the bicep rotation from there, but there's no real way around that, so it is what it is. So sadly, not too far. All right, same on the other side. So push the hand out, flip that out, flip the nose cone up, rotate in, slide up and tab in, rotate the shoulder, bring the arm down where you want it on a very tight ratchet, and there is Blast Off back in his robot mode. So I'll just tidy him up a little bit, make him look a little bit more appealing. There's also an arm slayer I've never noticed. You can actually slide the arms in and out, but I've never noticed that now that I think of it. That actually makes sense. I think I've just been doing it, and it's been doing it for me. So yeah, there is a slider there. So yeah, if it's probably why, if your shoulders, your elbows aren't working properly, it's because the slider's probably in the way. I admit, until now, I never even noticed that was there. So, yeah, lesson learned. All right, so final size comparisons. Here he is. Actually, I'll give him his gun, so at least he'll look good when we put the other combaticons on there. So here he is with MP10. And if we go from his head and not the giant mass on his back, he's just a bit taller than Prime's chest. Here he is. Whoops. Here he is with Make Toys Meteor, their cartoon accurate-ish color Starscream. So, I want to say Blast Off should be a little bit taller, but that's not too bad. And I should have organized these already, but give me a second. There we go. They all fit, kind of. There he is with Zeta Toys Racket, their Swindle, Uproar, their Brawl, Whirlblade, their Vortex. So all that's left is Onslaught, which right now I can't remember what they called him. So hell of a team, and just because I feel like it, yeah, doesn't really help. I was going to say that would look really good, but not so much. I'll probably do that a lot better when we get Onslaught reviewed in a fortnight. So there we go. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, give me a thumbs down. I promise you it will not hurt my feelings. Subscribe, ring that bell, leave me a comment. And apart from that, thanks for watching. I'll catch you later.